Welcome to the show, and today for our first guest we have Kaveri Sequeira, a certified health coach and author, and she's here today to talk to us about the 6 types of hunger. Welcome, Kaveri.
Great to be here, Linda. I love being here.
And today you're talking about the 6 types of hunger. So what are the 6 types of hunger?
Yes, so there are 6 types of hunger, and I'm going to start with the first type of hunger, which is the only genuine hunger that we have, and it's called nutritional hunger. We've evolved to have, when you're hunting and gathering, we've evolved to go with the seasons of the year. And nature has different foods in different seasons, and therefore we would get a wide variety of fruit and vegetables and meat in our diets. So we've been evolved to go and try and get that variety in our diet, so we can actually meet that hunger. Unfortunately, these days when we go and look at our shopping carts, we buy the same thing week in and week out. We need to get more variety of natural foods into our trolleys, so we can actually have that variety hunger met. So that is the third type of hunger. The fourth type of hunger, which I to talk about, is the emotional hunger, and that is where when we are feeling sad or angry or stressed, and God knows we've had a lot of things to feel that way about, we generally turn to food as an answer, as a coping mechanism. Now, that is actually not a genuine hunger, right? It is actually, we're trying to cope with our feelings and our emotions at that point in time. And I used to, struggle with that as well. Like if I was missing my mom, I would want to go and eat a chocolate chip cookie, prior to doing this. And when I looked at that, at my mindset of why I was doing it, I was actually wanting love. I was associating love as a feeling to that food. But what would have been a better idea is to actually give her a call and talk to her, because that's the real emotion. So we have to be aware of that emotional hunger, which is not a genuine hunger, but it's something we do as a habit. The fifth type of hunger is low blood sugar hunger. And this is something that we have because we have, I don't know about you, but for most people around 3 o'clock, you have that, cravings that they need to just have something. And that's caused by low blood sugar hunger, because we have a lot of low quality foods which has got high refined sugar in it. And that causes, sugary foods cause a lot of blood sugar spikes. And, when that goes slightly low, we think we're hungry, but it's actually because of the diet. So that's something to be aware of. And the sixth type of hunger is empty stomach hunger. Now, we were born in feast and famine times, when we evolved. So we were kind of used to, our stomachs kind of used to shrinking and expanding when we found food, basically. The empty stomach hunger is to get us really to get motivated as a survival strategy, to give us some signs so we can go and hunt and give us some motivation to go and hunt for food, which is essentially, it's quite dangerous to go hunting, right? Because you could get killed. So the trigger we get is, you're hungry, go find some food. But it's not actually, the empty stomach hunger we're talking about is not genuine hunger, because right now we eat 3 meals a day. We don't have to go hunt for our food. We're not doing enough activity, and we're still eating a lot of food. So it's not genuinely, if our stomach growls, it's not the first time. It doesn't mean that our stomach is truly empty. It's the digestive system just kind of clearing up, and doing some work during the minimum rest time. So just be aware that, are you truly hungry? Because you don't have to eat the first time you get a signal from the stomach, because it could be just your digestive system processing the food that you ate for your last meal. So those are the 6 types of hunger.
And why is it important to actually know about these types of hunger?
Absolutely. So I guess education is really important, right? Because when you know about these 6, just by being aware of the 6, you're going to think, okay, am I really feeling emotional? Am I feeling sad? Maybe I should, try and drink a glass of water instead, or go for a walk, or actually try and meet the emotion that is bothering you, or question, am I just thirsty here, or do I have a lot of refined, like I'm having food with a lot of refined sugar in it. So it's just being aware of that really helps. I mean, I've got a story that I can share of a person who constantly used to emotionally binge. She's like in her 30s. She just went through she went through a really difficult life event, and her way of coping at the end of the day was drinking, a couple of glasses of wine in the evening. And that was what she would go to. Once she realized that it's not actually, it's a processed food, and it's going to cause, and the next day she would have headaches. She wasn't actually dealing with the grief of what she was going through. So that's where an emotional hunger trigger was done. She coped with alcohol, whereas in evolution we didn't actually have alcohol in our diet. So she's actually not following the natural human diet, and as a result not even meeting her emotions. So it's just good to be aware of what those triggers are and actually deal with what is actually in front of you, not because it's not a genuine hunger. It's not your nutritional hunger.
So Kaveri, then for our viewers, how can they tell? What would be your tips on how they can tell the difference between the types of hunger?
Yeah, sure. So if it's thirst hunger, for example, the best thing you could do is say, have I had enough water today? And then maybe just go and drink a glass of water. Like, we should be having 7 to 8 glasses of water a day to be fully hydrated. So that would be a great thing to do. Check if you're really hungry, or is it just that I'm thirsty. So that's a good way to, and then if you have a glass of water and you stop feeling hungry, then you get your answer. The next thing you could do is look at your diet and say, am I having a lot of low quality sugars in my diet? Because that's probably what's causing the blood sugar to spike. So my recommendation is to have a lot more fruit and vegetable in your diet so you get your natural sugars. So that's one thing you could do. The other thing you could do is, just be generally more active in the day. Especially that's really useful for emotional hunger. Like, do your 10,000 steps a day, because that'll definitely help you feel better about yourself, have better emotions and mental clarity, and that definitely helps with your mental health and emotional health as well. Mindfulness practices like meditation and deep breathing, breath is a very important part as well. We all need air, so definitely more of that, because you might find that if you have an emotion and you get triggered, a good thing to do would be do 10 deep breaths and then let it out and drink a glass of water and say, I'll take a 10-minute walk and come back, and you might find that you're not hungry for that particular thing again. You actually feel good about yourself because you've not eaten something and then get into that guilty way of thinking, and then that self-sabotage, and that doesn't help you.
Thank you for that, Kaveri. And for more information on Kaveri and the 6 different types of hunger, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And now we'll go to break and be back after with our next guest. Welcome back. And our next guest is Helen Mack, back with us in the series of optimizing outcomes, and today she's talking about creating clarity. So clarity, Helen, that's a really interesting one. Can you tell us a bit more about that? I'm sure everybody would love to have clarity in life.
It's difficult, isn't it, Linda? I think sometimes we all feel like we're wandering around in a haze trying to work out where we're going to end up. So creating clarity is obviously a key piece of optimising outcomes. And I love the clarity piece because it has such power. There's real power in getting clear about your goals, your expectations of yourself and others, and your communication of those expectations to all of the people involved. So the power of clarity is that it helps us communicate to others what we are planning to do, how we're going to do it, and including how they can support us. Remember our What's Possible conversation from session 1. And so it enables everybody who's involved to kind of get on board, whether that's you and your family, your business, your community, or some not-for-profit organisation or charity that you're involved in, whatever part of your life that you want to get optimised outcomes from, getting clear about it is a very critical part of the process.
So how would they go about, can you explain a bit more about clarity and how we see things?
Beautiful. So I think there's four layers or four ways in which we go through to get to a position of clarity. The first is muddy. So this is literally when you're stuck. Like if you're trying to walk through a river and your boots are stuck, you might end up leaving your boots behind, or you're certainly going to end up in a mess. So muddy is a stage where you think you know where you want to go, but you're kind of stuck where you are now. And the only way to get unstuck is to make some kind of massive movement. So if you're stuck in mud, you can't just kind of wriggle forward. You've really got to push yourself out. Now, the bad news for people is that sometimes that means some kind of disagreement, some kind of blow up, because something big has to shift to get out of the mud. The second step is cloudy. So this is like trying to swim in a river where there's so much stuff in the water, so many particles in the water that you can't see where you're going. You're likely to bump into things, accidents can happen. So that the point around going from muddy to cloudy is we need to wash that through and make sure that we're focusing on the tiny points of clarity that we've got and bring those together so that we can push away the obstacles, the dirt, the stuff that's hanging around. Then we move to the third stage, which is clear. And clear sounds like it's the end of the journey, but it's the start of the clarity piece. So clear is, I now know where I am, I know where I'm going, and I can ask all of those what's possible questions that we talked about in the first session, as well as what's the best possible outcome for me now. So clear is great, but then there's one more step. If we can get to crystal, then we're really cooking. So there's two benefits about being crystal clear about something. And you know a lot about this, Linda, so I know I'm right in your space. With two elements of crystal, if you can get to crystal clear, then it creates a resonance. It creates an energy that attracts into your world the support that you need, the help that you need, and things just become much easier. And the second thing about crystal clear is that if you shine a light through crystal, it sparkles into a million different colours, you know, all of the rainbows sort of thing. And so that means you have more options and more colour, more brightness in the ability to achieve your goal. So they're the four steps. We need to identify where we are and then take action to get us to the next level up, ideally aiming for that crystal clear at the top.
So that brings up a lot of questions for people, doesn't it? How do I get clear? How do I do that?
Yeah. So I think that there's 6 questions that we need to ask ourselves, and these are not new. Everyone's asked these questions in various circumstances before, but if you've got the clarity lens looking at these questions, we need to ask what I call the 5 W's and the H. So why, what, when, where, who, how.
Helen, can you tell us a little bit more about the power of those questions?
Excellent question, Linda. So the thing about those questions is that regardless of your goal, if you get everyone involved in that goal to answer all of those questions, then you'll have people enrolled in the process and they'll know how to support you or what their part of it is. So let's go through a couple of different examples. So the first question that you need to ask yourself or others involved is why. So this is actually the purpose question, which can actually be a very deep, long conversation about the purpose of why am I doing this. But at a lighter level, it's simply, why is this important to me now? Why do I want to take this on? Why is it going to be important to me in my life or in the life of the other people in my world? So the why question for yourself and for others is the important pivotal starting point. So then we go, why, what? What am I going to do? What is the outcome that I'm after? And what will be the benefit to myself or to whoever else in my life that it involves? So if it's a health goal, it might just be me, but the what might have a long-term ramification or benefit to my family or my community, etc. So why, what, when? So when is an important one in terms of the timeline. Is it urgent, has to be done now, rally people around and get going? Or is it something that's a longer term plan, which gives other people time to become involved, time to get educated, time to start learning how they're going to be part of this process? So the when is around timeline and urgency. So we've got what, why, what, when. The next one is who, which is who am I going to need on my team? So if you remember my story from the first session around my late husband's illness, the challenge of that was who do we need to get involved? And so we got friends and family at various levels. We had different medical teams. It was really about bringing a team around us to take us together on this journey. So we needed to know the who's. And then you need to enroll those people, engage them, make sure that they're as excited and interested in your goal as you are. Those great supporters can make a big difference to whether you achieve that or not. Then we have where, which is it all going to happen where I am now? Does it mean me having to move? And there's been some very interesting moves in people's businesses and lives in recent times. And so you can set a goal for here, or you can set a goal for over there. I'm going to do this where? I'm going to once I've moved over there, I'm going to be able to do this in this new location. Or is it a transitory thing? So my where at the moment is all about working from anywhere. I want to make sure in my coaching that I can reach my people wherever I am. And so that means I can live my lifestyle while still making a difference to individuals. So my where at the moment is anywhere in the world, as long as I've got internet coverage. And then the final step is how. And the how is all about what processes am I going to use? What steps am I going to take? How do I do this thing? Do I do it alone? Do I do it within a group, in a company, in a community? How do I want to make this happen? And the most important first step of that is what's the best first step to get the best possible outcome?
Thank you, Helen. And for more about Helen Mack, we'll be back next time in the third in the series about optimising outcomes, and it's maximising our momentum. In the meantime, please go to her webpage and on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au for more information. And we'll see you after the break with another guest in the series. And for our next guest, we have Dr. Zara Chelik back with us, our integrative health and wellness expert. And today she's talking to us about Hamam ritual. So welcome, Dr. Zara.
Thank you.
And what is a Hamam?
Great question. So a lot of people, I'm sure our viewers will be wondering, what is a Hamam? Because quite frankly, it's, we don't have it in Australia, right? Or it's not common in Australia, but very common in Middle East and Europe. It goes back to the 7th century, and it is typically a space that is designed for a bath house. It's like a bath house, just to make it simple for our viewers. So it is designed, usually it has a very high ceilings. It's a dome shaped, and you can literally see the sky. That's a typical traditional design. Now, of course, we're not going to get that in Australia, but what is also part of a hammam is when you step into a hammam, it is heated floor. It is all heated throughout. It has a beautiful marble that's also heated, and it's an amazing slab where people can lie down or sit on it to experience the ritual and the benefits of the ritual. And of course, there's also steam and lots of water for purification, for grounding, for relaxation, and also for cleansing. So that water element, the whole copper and the marble and amazing, beautiful dome ceilings is what really makes the hammam special. And the most important is the hammam ritual itself, which is just divine. It has numerous benefits on the mind. It has numerous benefits on the nervous system, on the physical body, to bring the body to calm, to ease. It is nurturing. It is healing. It is purifying, detoxifying, rejuvenating ancient ritual, which goes back to 7th century. So there's a lot of wisdom in this ritual. And the nurturing component is what makes it very special. That is lacking in our modern world. Nurturing is lacking, unfortunately. So people love to be nurtured. They want to go back to the ancient time and experience what those people experienced. With the body, though, there is the exfoliation, which people also loves. It has benefits, as I said, on the physical body. It's on the skin. So there is a kesa glove that is used, which is only used in hammam rituals, which again makes it unique, to remove the dead skin, to get that dead layers of the skin off, where skin's able to breathe, detox efficiently. And with that, there is a technique, there is a rhythm, and it's done in a methodical way. When the dead skin's coming off, there's a lot of blood circulation that is coming to the skin surface. While that dead layers of skins are rolling off like little mini spaghettis, there's lots of blood circulation. And what is blood circulation? It's, collagen stimulation, elastin stimulation, hyaluronic acid boosting. And then the skin is glowing, it is lush, it is smooth, it's healthy because that dead layers just come off, and it is breathing and it is detoxifying naturally. So the skin's glowing, that's a beautiful benefit on the skin. But also, as you're lying down on that marble bench, Linda, the muscles are relaxed, the joints are relaxed, the mind just drifts off. It's completely still. You're not thinking about the modern life. And that's, again, what makes it beautiful. And that's what also it is mostly now sought by many people in the modern life. They want to really bring calm to the mind because it's overworking, it's overfiring. There's a lot of stress. So people love it for that because it really gives a pause to the mind to be still, to be at that very moment, to connect with self while being nurtured. So that's beautiful. But the muscles are relaxed, the body is completely relaxed, so it helps with aches and pains. That's also is another reason people seek out the Hamam rituals. There's also the brides, they get ready. There's beautiful rituals around getting a bride ready. It's cleansing, purifying, detoxifying, and getting her to connect with the inner self to be ready for that. So there's so much behind that. It's not just a physical level. I want to also point that out as well. There is mother and baby ritual. There is a pregnancy ritual. It is so diverse. It is so beautiful. And, there's that ancient wisdom behind that. Clearly, if they practice that for such a long time, for many, many centuries, there has to be something to it. And that's what people are wanting to experience day to day. And one thing that is my favorite in the Hamam ritual is that luxurious, silky, gliding, beautiful soap bubble massage. It's poured all over the body with a beautiful cloth. The whole body is just covered with that beautiful soap bubbles and just massage through. That is my favorite.
And for our viewers out there, how often can people have them, and is it for all ages?
Yeah, sure. With my girls, for example, they started when they were a week old. Now it is done a little bit different. So they were more in a beautiful copper ball and literally just swimming in that lots of water. And then they usually hand exfoliated instead of using a Kesa glove. As they grow, then there's a beautiful silk one that we use. Any age group can go in and benefit amazing nurturing rituals. As I said, it is all about nurturing. It is all about cleansing, purifying. But with babies, of course, it's about nurturing, and they love that. They need that, right? So anyone can do it. As I said, my girls started when they were little. There is no age limit, and there is no time limit. You can experience it as long as you want. But I know with the modern life, people don't put time aside for themselves. And with that, I say, if you can do it once a month, brilliant. But traditionally, it is done every week.
Thank you for that, Zara.
My pleasure, Linda.
And for more information on Dr. Zara Celik and the Hamam ritual, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, and we'll say bye-bye until next week.